So we've been creating content around personal finance, financial freedom, real estate investing for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and we've seen all different types of scenarios.
But today, we're deciding to look into the internet and find out the craziest stories and share our thoughts about them and how they can possibly get out of these problems.
All right, first scenario. Am I the asshole for telling my family how much my fiance earns after years of them making fun of his job? My family is very well educated and full of professionals, including several doctors, surgeons, dentists, etc. I have a good career and make a good living. When I met my fiance, he was at my house to supervise a roofing crew the insurance company hired to replace my damaged roof. I instantly fell for him when he pulled up his truck and couldn't keep my eyes off of him for the rest of the day as he gave orders to his men. When we started dating, he was vague about his job, and I just chalked it up to him being insecure about me having a better career. I didn't care about our income imbalance. When we got serious, we talked about our future plans, and that was when he told me the full extent of his little construction company. I was shocked that his construction earnings is as much as my dad's surgeon's salary. Okay.
That's good, because I thought when she was talking about this, he was being shady because he might be doing some illegal activities, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought this could have gone like the other way maybe.
And also, I've been watching a lot of Sopranos, so with construction jobs, also some like ties to like mafia or something like that. But no, he's just a good businessman.
He's just good.
Yeah.
Gradually, he took me around to the handful of construction lots and shopping centers he owns. His rental income combined with his construction earnings is double that of my dad's. He said that few people know about his finances, and he expects me to keep what I know to myself.
So he's a real estate investor
That's what I was
and a
saying.
contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, contracting makes a lot of money. And anyone that owns a home can relate how expensive contracting is.
My parents disapproved of him since the first time I brought him home. My dad coined the term tool boy, and the rest of my family joined in whenever they talk behind my fiance's back. They don't call him that to his face, but instead make snide remarks. Once my mom said during dinner that they're thinking about hiring someone to mow their lawn, then turned to my fiance and asked him what he charges. Jeez. I always try to defend him, and it's a constant battle. It's gotten worse since we're planning our wedding, and the other day my nerves just broke. Yesterday, parents were trying to get me into getting a prenuptial, and then my dad said, you have to protect your assets just in case Tool Boy decides to go slumming. I'm shocked.
I mean, when it comes to marriage, right, getting
Yeah.
a prenup is really a difficult thing to talk about because technically it protects both sides, right?
Yeah, I think that prenups can be, or like a lot of times it is good, right? It is actually a good thing to have this set so that the government doesn't, determine what they can take from you or whatever it is.
Right, they don't determine who gets what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I lost it and yelled at my parents. During our shouting, I blurted out his earnings and that he makes more than both of them combined. Then I stormed out. I told my fiance what happened, but instead of supporting me, he got mad that I told his parents that. I argued that I was defending him, then we got into an argument. My parents and family are mad at me for keeping secrets. My fiance is mad at me for not keeping secrets. I'm stuck in the middle and don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a hard situation. I understand why he doesn't want his finances revealed, because if people know he's super rich, then they're gonna start coming after him, right? Or asking for favors, asking for money. But if you think he's just a regular tool boy, he can be low-key.
I feel like I would be so upset, for example, if my parents hacked you or whatever, and I feel like I would want to defend. So naturally, I would have said something. I would have said it like a long time ago, but maybe not like his specific earnings. Maybe I could just be like, oh, he's like actually doing extremely well. He's a real estate investor. He's doing really well. Instead of making it seem like it's very uneven in terms of their finances in the marriage. That's probably what I would have approached. Would you have done that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, again, parents really just want to support their children and make sure that they're safe and that they're marrying the right person. For the most part, people who are in contracting are not the best with business, and they just deal with cash and all that stuff. So it is rare to find someone who is very well set up and has a lot of money.
I literally think the parents are the assholes here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Right.
they're looking down on somebody and without really giving them a fair shot. Like,
Yeah.
is he a good man? Does he have good values?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
probably more important.
As long as financially they're both able to support themselves, I don't think it's fair for the parents to judge or like butt in and say all these remarks. Is like really rude. So I don't think she was being an asshole. What do you think?
Right, I don't think so either. But I mean, again, to the parents' point, one thing about owning a business is, yes, during the good times you can make a lot of money, but when things turn, you can also lose a lot of money because you have a lot of overhead, you can get lawsuits, et cetera, so.
Second scenario, am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my husband and his family's meals at the restaurant? Title sounds bad, I know, but I'll let you decide who's in the wrong. To begin, my husband and I don't share finances. It's been like this for the 3 years of our marriage, and so far we've been doing well. Though he'd sometimes try to get me to pay for him, but I do it only when I want to do a nice thing for him, say invite him to a restaurant. This past week, he got a bonus at work. He was overjoyed. He informed his entire family and planned for them to go out and celebrate with us. He picked the restaurant, meals, drinks, etc. I naturally thought he was going to pay for all that since it's his happy celebration, but it turns out I was wrong because when it was time to pay the bill, he told me to take care of it. I said, why? It's a celebration, not mine, but he insisted I pay and he'll explain later. I refused and demanded an explanation. He said that while yes, he is the one who got bonus, but he assumed I'd want to celebrate that and offer to cover the bill. When I talked about how ridiculous it was of him to assume I'd pay for not just his, but his family's meals, he said that I should be happy for him instead of being visibly bitter. He then said he's yet to receive his bonus and begged that I take care of the bill now and he might consider paying me back later.
Trash.
I refused and only paid for what I consumed. Him and his family started talking about how inappropriate I was acting. I took my purse and went home afterwards because there was so much commotion when they started arguing who's going to cover the bill. His mom spam called me for hours and he went off on me at home saying I spoiled the celebration and joy because I'm feeling bitter, especially considering I had enough money to cover the bill right there and then. I said this wasn't my obligation and he was the one who came up with the celebration idea. He argued that if the roles were reversed and I got a bonus, he'd celebrate me and my achievements and pay for the damn meals after taking me and my family out. I casually said, well, that's just you, not me. He got even more pissed and said that he had had it with my juvenile antics and that he won't ever forget the scene I made at the restaurant in front of his family. Been upset with me for days now.
So I think this is very interesting because this is a huge cultural shift compared to what we experience. Because when we eat out with our friends or family, everyone fights for the bill.
Oh, that's
It's
true.
like a sign of like, dude, I'm a boss. I can afford this, you know? And when I try to pay, when we eat with like my dad or even your parents,
Yeah.
they like get mad at us
That's
for
true,
even
actually.
trying. They're like, wow, you're gonna disrespect me like this?
Oh, that's very true.
And we're like, I'm just trying to help, right?
Yeah, it's definitely like an Asian cultural thing.
Right.
I think like in our younger generation, it's not as required, not like required, but like it's not as expected. It's pretty normal for us to be like, okay, let's all split the bill. Let's put our cards down or whatever. Sometimes we'll offer to pay or whatever, but it's definitely different here. This is like a family event too, and then she's not like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take care of it or whatever. But I don't expect her to do this. I think
Definitely
he's definitely in the wrong for this, and it's kind of crazy that his whole family is pushing it.
Right. And then when you have a scenario like this where one person has a celebration, you don't expect someone else
Yeah.
to pay for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
If anything, it's okay, maybe everyone pitches in for that one special
Yeah,
person
exactly.
when it's their birthday.
Yeah.
It's not his birthday. He got
Yeah.
a bonus.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to check everyone out. You're supposed to use that bonus money
Exactly.
to then
Yeah.
spread the wealth.
I would say birthdays, it's like everyone else pays for that person's birthday. Usually is
Yeah.
what I find normal. For a bonus, that's on you to be like, oh, hey, let me treat you guys, right? That's
Right.
the reason.
Like I got a
for the-
raise, I got
Yeah.
a new job.
Yeah.
You know, hey, congratulations, you pay the bill, right?
Yeah,
That's-
he's like
that's the thing.
inviting everyone for this. That is also interesting that they don't share finances. What are your thoughts on that?
For the viewers here, we share our finances, and we started maybe once we got engaged, we had joint bank accounts, and we would contribute to this joint bank account, and from that joint bank account, we pay for all of our joint expenses, mortgage, utilities, blah blah blah, food and everything. And we have our own accounts, but it's a very small fraction of our total income, and that's just for our personal use, so that I can buy things without making her feel bad, or vice versa. Or I can use that money to buy you a special present without you basically buying your own present, right? It's from my side.
I would say my favorite ways are just completely share or have that joint account and then have your separate accounts. And then maybe you can percentage divide it by how much income you're getting, about like how much you contribute to the account, if there's like a huge disparity in your income. I just want to say that I feel like it's actually kind of nice to have these forums that are anonymous, so you can kind of get feedback from everyone to understand, like, am I in the wrong, right? Because sometimes you don't know. All right, third scenario. Am I the asshole for revealing our net worth when my wife constantly says we are broke and making me look bad with money? I, 31 male, have been with my wife, 30 female, for 10 years now, and she always has had this habit of making me look bad with our finances. Whenever anything regarding spending money comes up, she will always say how broke we are and she doesn't have the money to do this or buy that. Thing is, we are doing well financially. We have decent jobs and combined our salary is roughly $125,000 a year. As of today, our net worth is more than $1 million, but less than $2 million.
That's pretty good.
That's really good. I had saved, invested a lot before getting married, so I gave us a good head start. I control the finances, take the lead, but we both agreed to live a very modest life. We both have our cars from college, for example, Honda, Toyota. She knows everything about our finances because at least once a month I go over it with her every time I deposit money in our investment accounts or our kids' college funds. Okay, they look like they have their shit together. For banking, we have an emergency fund and I budget everything else to go straight into investments. Great.
Yeah.
We basically stay right at $10,000 in our bank savings accounts and $500 in our checking account after bills. Edit, most of the time there's more than $500 in our checkings, but once I pay our credit card each month, I then move anything extra. We always use a credit card, so it's not like we only have $500 to spend. Our credit card limit is $25,000.
I mean, that seems very solid. So he's really smart about only keeping a certain amount of money in cash because it doesn't grow as much, and then he invests the rest. My thing is, I would not feel comfortable having only $500 in a checking account. It is very low.
That is very low.
And like you spend $1,000 a month on your credit card, you forget about it, and then it auto draws. Boom, you draft. Like, I don't know.
I like having a bit more in there.
We have a lot more in our checking account.
Yeah, I think the percentages are correct. Like most of it is in their investments and they have emergency funds. So they're good to go. A few months ago, we had dinner with our friends and they talked about buying a new car. My wife said something like, I wish I could get a new car, but I'm always broke after paying the bills. We still have our college cars. Edit, wife does not want a new car. She would go on to talk about if she had money, what she would want to buy, and it always makes me feel ashamed. This I'm broke story has been happening for years. When we were driving home, I asked her about it. She understood we have the money, but it's how she feels because her bank account is always low. I said I can increase our budget or keep more money in our bank if she wants. Since we are doing well, I'm okay with spending more. She said no and again was happy with our finances. I explained that when she says we are broke, it makes me look bad and I feel ashamed. It's as though I can't provide for the family and or I'm bad with money. She doesn't see it that way. The same conversation has come up numerous times about us being broke. Recently, I reminded her numerous times it makes me feel and look bad in front of friends and family. I told her if she keeps saying stuff like that, I will reveal that we are doing well with money. I gave her a few reminders. I'd eventually do this, but she kept going on with the I'm broke story. At a dinner with her sisters and parents, the same I'm broke story came up. I piped in and said, it's weird to hear a millionaire say they're broke. My wife said, haha, I'm not though, and I quickly say, we are millionaires and you know that. We go over our finances every month. Well, the I'm broke story stopped after that and the night went on as usual. A little later, the same thing happens with her friends and I use the same line. Now my wife is mad at me for using that line and revealing roughly how much money we have. She said, it seems like I'm gloating. I say it's better than making me look like I'm running us into the ground financially. So am I the asshole for revealing our net worth when my wife says we are broke?
Very interesting situation because, again, I think most people, they do the opposite. They pretend to be super rich by buying fancy cars that they can't afford or living in super luxury places, but really have no net worth.
Yeah.
Here, they have a lot, but they live very humbly, kind of like us. Right? Look at what we wear, right? And the cars we drive is also a Toyota Corolla. But I think for her, she's feeling poor again because she doesn't see the number, right? She don't look at your investment portfolio that often, but you look at your bank account all the time.
I think he tried talking to her about it like multiple times. So I almost feel like she's being the asshole. Because like to me, it's like as a partner, I want to listen to my partner's concerns, right? If he's brought up so many times that he doesn't like me saying these things, I would definitely consider that and try not to do that anymore, right? So like for her to continue doing that, he had to do something. Honestly, feel like he was being an asshole. To me, I thought she was being the asshole.
Yeah. Again, I think she's using this more as an out. The way you can just tell friends that you're not interested because I'm broke.
Yeah.
And they don't bother you. And if you look poor, again, they don't bother you. Kind of like that other one we saw earlier where he was being like a humble contractor, but in reality he has a lot of assets, so no one bothers him for money
Yeah.
or stuff like that.
At least they're in the good side
Yeah,
versus
good
the bad side of like trying to be fake with it of, oh, I'm killing it, right? So there's edits on this post, and it seems like they're just kind of clarifying different things about their situation. And at the end they said, I'll speak more with my wife about this after reading posts. I think she may not feel like it's her money since she never saved much before we got engaged. So that's actually very interesting. That's like another problem, that there are deeper things to discuss here, right? If she doesn't feel part of it, he needs to make her feel like it is a joint effort.
Right, and also like we don't know how much she makes compared to how much he makes, because he says his job is in demand, but what about hers? Like if she doesn't contribute much, or maybe she's a stay-at-home mom, then she may not feel like that money is hers to spend.
That makes sense, yeah, because if it's all his, then it's like she could feel that way, right?
And he controls the finances, right? Because he's the one that structures everything.
It's not like that big of an issue in my opinion. It's something that can be talked about and figured out pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, hopefully no one gets divorced over this.
Yeah, seriously.
So these are some very interesting stories. Let me know down in the comments below what was your favorite scenario and what you think they could have done better.
If you guys like these types of episodes, we have plenty more scenarios that we can react to, so let us know. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.